Howdy heretics, I have really good news, breaking news from Brazil, and you can read more in avoidjw.org. So what happened is, in September 2019, the branch of Jehovah's Witnesses and a number of kingdom halls in São Paulo, Brazil were raided by the police. So they had a search warrant, and they came looking for documentary evidence of criminal activities relating to child sexual abuse. The Jehovah's Witnesses claimed that the raid was unlawful. Below is a translation of the Court of Justice determination. They lost their appeal. So the investigation into Jehovah's Witness handling of child abuse at the branch level is ongoing. So if you've never been a Jehovah's Witness, I can explain to you that Jehovah's Witness is a doomsday cult that don't like bad reputation. They are very concerned about their reputation. So when bad things happen, they have the tendency to just sweep it under the rug because Armageddon will solve the problem, you know? So, but when Armageddon didn't come, they just kept sweeping things under the rug. And at the current point, they really need a bigger rug or Armageddon. They neither have rug or Armageddon, so they have problem. And so the authorities did what the authorities should do. They raided, they had a strong suspicion, and they went to court and to a judge and explained, we need to have a search warrant. They got a search warrant, and Watchtower do not like that. So they do what most innocent people do. They claim that something wrong with the search warrant. And, they start saying that, the alleged crime, they're too old, there's a statute of limitations, so it's just a generic investigation, and that's wrong. The crime that didn't happen are too old. And but they also say there's no evidence of any illegality, so the documents would only prove that we are innocent. Yeah, it says here, he argued that there would be no evidence in the case file regarding the commission of any illegality or omission on the part of the enforcing institution, but on the contrary, the evidence attached to the file by the public prosecutor's office would indicate that the plaintiff would be concerned with protecting minors in their midst, guiding their leaders in this regard. So the documents obtained by the police would prove that Watchtower is a very, very nice and Christian organization. So Watchtower don't want anyone to see them. Sounds like a good argument. And then if you've ever been to Watchtower in court, it's fun because they have the same strategy and they use it all the same. And one of the things, they argue with apostasy. You can't trust people that say something against us cannot be trusted. So they say here, he affirmed that news from unreliable sources would have been added to the procedure, news from other countries extracted from the internet, with the defense not having the opportunity to learn about the identity of the sources. Also observing that documents in a foreign language translated unofficially by an unknown person would violate the provisions of Article 236 of the Criminal Procedure Code. So, this is the apostate argument, and Watchtower actually do it in court. They don't use the word apostate, but they can talk about disgruntled ex-members. They say stuff like that. But look at this argument here. They say, news from unreliable sources would have been added to the procedure. And with the defense not having the opportunity to learn about the identity of the sources. So Watchtower is allegedly a criminal organization. It's organized crime. Do they really expect the Brazilian police to inform the criminal organization that we have a whistleblower? Do they really think that's how the police is supposed to work? That they start every investigation with calling the criminal organization and telling them, we have a whistleblower that's want to witness against you. This is his name and his address. That's not how the law works. But Watchtower actually claims that they should have, it says, the defense not having the opportunity to learn about the identity of the sources. But still, they know they are unreliable. This is a typical Watchtower circle argument because they believe that anyone that says anything negative about us must be wrong per default. So we don't know who he is, but we know he's unreliable. And and then this is also fun. They say he asserted too that the prosecution would have known of the alleged victim through unofficial sources, namely electronic messages from a cell phone, which would consist only in name and first name of some person's offense without mentioning the date of the events. So, someone called the cops. That's unofficial sources. If someone calls the cops should do nothing. And we're now talking about alleged sexual abuse of children. So the alleged victim might be a child, you know, but Watchtower, being innocent and all that, claims that that it's an unofficial source with not name first only in name and first name of some person's offense without mentioning the date of the event. So if this is allegedly a child that's being abused, you should not listen to the child unless they have the correct legal procedure for prosecution. That's not how the law works. And by the way, Watchtower often call the police when I'm protesting outside the convention. They call the police. So, do they really mean that no one can call the police on them? That's a violation? And then they do a lot of circular argument. They also argue here, it says, he argued that such a measure would be manifestly abusive, since its foundation would lie in internet media news coming from Australia without any investigation in Brazil. So they say that the government has obviously been working with reading the Case Study 29 from the Royal Australian Commission. Watchtower referred to the Royal Australian Commission Case Study 29 as internet media news coming from Australia. You can't trust it. But then they go, say, without any investigation in Brazil. So they want to stop the investigation in Brazil because there have been no investigation in Brazil. You can only investigate Watchtower in Brazil if there already have been investigated. That's a circular argument, and witnesses do it all the time because that's how their brain works. It's a part of being a believing Jehovah's Witness. But the Australian Royal Commission was done by professional. It's not internet media news coming from Australia. It's not called Apostate Australian Commission. It's the Royal Australian Commission. It's done by professional. It's not. They don't call it royal because it's Queen Elizabeth's gossip. No. And secondly, if Watchtower is innocent, wouldn't this be a wonderful thing for Watchtower? Imagine the apostates are spreading lies about Watchtower, and these documents prove that Watchtower is a wonderful organization protecting children. So the officials of the Brazilian, authorities, they act on apostate lies, and they go and read through all this evidence, and they say, what a wonderful organization. And they come home to their wife and said, I found the truth. Let's stop celebrating Christmas. And the judge accept a Bible study, and everyone in his family become pioneers. The prosecution leave the Catholic Church and become Jehovah's Witnesses. This is a wonderful thing for Watchtower. Finally, someone will look at the evidence and they will be vindicated. So, this is a wonderful day for the Watchtower. Now, finally, everyone can see that the apostates are lying. But, just to be on the safe side, I think it's best that no one sees it. At least the Watchtower say it. So. And they also do this. We are a religion, and we are above the law because we believe in something that's invisible. Every criminal organization could do that. And believe me, a lot of criminals, con artists, they've been in court and start arguing with, well, I believe this is the right thing to do, so therefore it's not a crime. But I'm glad for Brazil. They have religious freedom in their constitution, but I'm pretty sure the constitution also says something about protecting children. So if there is, I said this a million times, I'm going to say it a million times more. If you have a case of protecting a multi-billion, or doesn't matter how much money they have, if you have protecting the constitutional rights of children or the constitutional rights of an organization, the constitutional rights of the children is more important, because if this proves anything, it is that Watchtower can afford a lawyer. The kids have me, a goat farmer in Norway, and a lot of other good people. This is so weird. So anyway, so the judge did not stop the ongoing investigation. He says the determination to search and seize assets linked to the sexual abuse on screen has been well funded. And when it comes to like religious freedom, he says, and specifically regarding that the constitutional protection afforded to religious institution, this was not vilified, even outlining that in accordance with the decision placed on pages 590-591, due diligence should not take place during worship hours. So when they gave the search warrant for Kingdom Halls, they stated that you should be respectful and you should not do this search during worship hours. So this is kind of sad that Watchtower don't understand when people are nice to them. They just assume that everyone hates us and everyone's terrible. But people are actually trying to be nice to them and try to help them. But with all the evidence, like Australian Royal Commission, and there's a lot of victims contacting them, not doing a search and seizure at the Kingdom Hall would be wrong. And if Watchtower is innocent, they will be proven innocent. And maybe even Australia will understand this and apologize to Watchtower. Why can't you see Jehovah's hand in this? If Jehovah is real, why cannot he use this to glorify his name? Because, as the Watchtower lawyer said, these documents prove that Watchtower is a wonderful organization that take care of children, but we don't want anyone to see them. So, you can read all of this if you want yourself, but I think this is a good thing for, if Watchtower is innocent, it's a really good thing for Watchtower. If Watchtower is not innocent, it's a really good thing for the children. So, win-win. This is a happy day for me. I hope it's a happy day for you. I hope you like this video. It takes me a lot of time to make them because I had to do it over and over like 10 times. So, it takes a lot of time. But I hope you like the video. I hope you subscribe. And I hope you hit the new light notification bell. So every time Jehovah changes his mind, YouTube will inform you of his new opinion. So that's all I had to say, and see you in paradise.